everybody? Thanks for tuning in. You're watching the Honor Show. I'm very excited today. I got one of the best dudes in the fucking industry right here, Nate OG, and one of my closest people. So I'm real excited to have him back on the show. How you doing today, fam?
I'm blessed, fam. Can't complain.
Awesome. Hell yeah. Hey, man, it's an honor to have you back on the Honor Show. It's always good to have you on here, and just
Likewise.
thank you, man. It just your positive vibe too. Even in our personal lives, you always have something good to say. You always have something
Right.
a positive way to look at things, and even when you hear or
Oh
see
yeah.
something negative, I like the way that
Mhm.
you can say, hey, well, this may be, but it don't have to be that way. It could be this. He's always
Exactly.
got something good to say, and I appreciate that because I need that in my life. I need people that are positive and shit. So I
We
appreciate
all
that.
do.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
we all do.
That's the truth too. If people watch this, if you're hanging around negative people, you're gonna be negative. You hang around rich people, you're probably gonna learn ways of getting money. If you hang around
Mhm.
musical people, you'll probably get into just like if you sit in a barber shop all day, every day, you probably end up getting a haircut at some point.
Exactly.
Right. So, um, so tell me what do you got going on? What have you been working on and stuff?
Uh, just build with more artists. Uh, that's what I've been doing, networking and stuff. So,
Hell yeah.
so yeah. Shout out to homie Dankery Hard from Frank and Dank.
Hell yeah.
He been reaching out. So I did send some joints to him. So just waiting until he frees up because he does. He puts out a lot of projects. So, but he told me I had some dope stuff that he got stuff in the vault. So hopefully we can get a project going eventually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the current development. You know what I mean? So other than that, just trying to live and keep my vibe up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Dude, what do you think of this? Did you? Oh my God, I'm almost speechless. Even though I know how wild Kanye can be. Like, did
Mhm.
you see that fucking interview with DJ Academics?
No, I didn't watch it, but I saw the screenshot, and that's all I need to see.
That me too. I didn't watch it. I just seen pictures of it and then some of the quotes, and I was like, this man. People gotta stop. I liked one dude's comment. I was mainly looking at the comments, and it's like one dude was like, "Y'all gotta stop with, oh, this man is a genius, or there's some deep underlying genius message here." It isn't. This guy, it needs some help. Yeah, he is a musical
Mhm.
genius. I'll give him that. Hell yeah. I don't
Yeah.
listen to his shit. I just don't. I'm not saying he
Yeah. Me
sucks.
neither.
He's good. He's great at what he does. I'd have to say he's one of the best. Look at his fan base and shit. But
Mhm.
I just, and all the stars have worked with him. I just don't get into his style. But the things he's doing, wearing a freaking KKK robe and wearing Nazi symbols on his shirts, and man, that's just confusing people and promoting hatred.
Mhm.
But those were symbols of hatred. There's no genius behind
Yep.
that.
Exactly.
And
And his
that's my
statements on
opinion on
Hitler
it.
and all that. That's true, and I agree.
Oh yeah. Like, what did you think when you first saw that? When you said, because I said, who in the hell is DJ Academic Singer interviewing wearing that? And then I found out it was Ye. I was like, oh, here we go
Yeah, it
again.
just I didn't watch the interview, but I saw the little pics, and I was like, "Yep, I'm not gonna be tuning into that." That was
No,
enough for me to just see the wardrobe. I was like, "Nah, I'm not."
see, exactly. And see, that's what I like about you. You ain't even going to let that negativity into your world. You see it, you're like, nah, I can
Mhm.
do without that. Let's
Yep.
skip it. Yep. Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Me too. I was like, I
Exactly.
don't need to even watch it. Just by seeing the pictures, I can see all I need to know. Like, I don't care what he's even saying at this point. Like, you wearing that shit, dude, you can go. You can go.
Yep. Exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
Wholeheartedly.
yeah, wholeheartedly. And not even in a hateful way. It's like Jesus even said. If you go preaching to a town or to some people and they say, I don't want to hear it. I don't want you here. He said, kick the dust off your sandals and move on. Out.
Mhm.
But so I mean, it's not even in a hatred way. It's just, man, I don't need that in my life. Not at
Yeah,
all.
man. I don't get it at all. I don't understand his thinking. You know what I mean? But
Right.
yeah, it's like he's I guess he's grabbing for straws, like trying to be relevant.
Yes.
Because if you notice, if you look at his music career, he done went from being like kind of semi-conscious, then he went the Christian route,
Yeah.
and then he did that for a while, and then he backslid back. So it's like I don't know, he's too
Yeah.
wishy-washy. He need to pick a lane and just nothing wrong being versatile, but you know you
Right.
gotta if you're gonna make a gospel album, you know, be a be an example of what you're creating instead of like falsifying. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he said himself, he said in an interview with Charlamagne the God on Breakfast Club a couple of years back, I think it was that he said something about being a god. He said, "You asked me
Right.
who I am, and I just told you I'm a god." You know what I mean? So that lets
Yeah.
you know just what kind of cult type of mentality and false idol he has,
Right.
and business he has.
Right. Right. And you're right. It reminds me of a verse where it said being tossed to and fro like a wave on the ocean, not having any direction.
Mhm.
It's like he's
Yep.
going all these spots. It's like he's trying to connect with every demographic or something out there. It's like you can't do that. Like you said, pick a lane and stay in it. Like, and if you
Right.
want to be a
Exactly.
Christian and do gospel albums, then you should be an example. Because if you're doing that stuff and then you go and do the things he's doing, then people think, oh man, that's a Christian. I want to be like that.
Yeah.
It gives everything a bad name in my opinion. I just wish he'd get
Exactly.
some help. Like he really do need some help. Like he needs to talk to a professional or something. I think his balance is off. And
Yeah,
I
it
think he's
could be.
depressed. Like yeah, he lost all them contracts. He lost what billions of dollars potentially, and a lot of
Mhm.
liquid money. Like he lost his family. He's having a hard time. So I get
Yeah.
that he's struggling, but man, I'm just gonna pray for him because he needs. Damn, he made me. I'll be honest. It made me mad when I seen him wearing that shit. It made me mad,
Yeah.
but
Me
I also
too.
felt bad for him too. But it did. But initially, really, it made me mad. But I had to ask God help me not to be mad at this man and help me to just look at him as a guy who needs help.
Yeah. Exactly. That same way. That same way I look at it too.
Yep. Oh yeah. So off of the subject to him, uh, what you been listening to lately? Any new hot artists that you like?
Um, trying to think. Well, kind of crazy, but I still been listening to my '90s for the most part. Like
Yeah.
that Dre and Snoop Missionary.
Yeah.
People, a lot of people didn't like it because they expected it to be like Doggy Style and Chronic and all that.
Right.
But these are 50, almost 60-year-old men, so they're not gonna be rapping about
Right.
the same thing they did when they was in their 20s on death row. So
Right. Right.
you know what I mean. So
They've
a lot of
matured.
that.
Their
Exactly.
lives have changed.
And yep, exactly, man. They've lived, so yeah. It's
Yeah.
like you can't make nobody happy, And
Right.
there's an ageism um limit in hip hop to where they they think if you're over like 30 that you
Right.
shouldn't be rapping. But
Right.
every other genre of music got people in their
Yeah.
80s and they still touring. John Mellencamp and
Right.
Bruce Springsteen, and to name a few. But when it
Right.
comes to hip hop, after you get a certain age, they say you can't perform no more. You shouldn't be doing it. You
Right.
know what I mean? So yeah, I've been still stuck on my '90s stuff. I
Yeah.
did finally getting around. I have been getting more into Kendrick. I did buy his most recent album
Okay.
because I hadn't heard it yet.
Sure.
So that's a dope album.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so I've been just spread all over the place, trying to find new artists to kind of listen
Yeah.
to. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing too. I always got the old school shit in my playlist heavy, and
Mhm.
then of course as far as newer music, it's nothing mainstream. Like where you see it on MTV, even though it should be mainstream, it should be the shit that's playing on every radio station in MTV. Mud Talk, motherfucking, Dogmatic and his sons, and Fat
Yeah.
Father and shit. Like that's a kind of shit I look for and different shit. And also my guys down in Dago there, like uh dang it, it's at the tip of my tongue. But shout out to all y'all and Dago, you know who you are. I'll think of it in a second here,
Yeah, no
but
doubt.
um and then out in Jersey too, you know, Young Z, he's always releasing shit. Bazaar's still releasing
Yep.
stuff. So as far as new music,
Yep.
it's like it's still my '90s guys, but that are still making shit. Not like you said, it's
Mhm.
like gatekeepers and ageism and hip hop. But it's like
Yep.
that's why I'm glad our guys have already been there and laid the foundation because nobody can really say, "Nah, you ain't doing this." They'll do what they want, and people are still gonna listen to it. They know they got their fan
Yep.
base,
Yep. Exactly.
you know, and
That's how I feel too. Yeah.
hell yeah, and people. Oh, switching here, a segue from new music to old school. Man, I don't think this generation understands how special Detroit's been as far as music. Not just rap, but decades before that, 4 decades. I mean, Motown. I mean, look
Yep.
at all the fucking talent that has come out of Motown. All
Mhm.
the best, dude, back in the day, the best singers, the best dancers, the best everything was all people from Motown and shit.
Yep.
My
That's true.
opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I do too, man. I
Yeah.
agree wholeheartedly. You know,
It's
I've read this article. Oh, sorry, man. You can go ahead.
no. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
There was this article maybe 5 or 6 years ago that said like the Detroit musical legacy, if it was appraised, it'd be like worth billions. And a lot of that comes from like Motown. You know what I mean? The Motown catalog.
Right.
So that shows you know right there that there is talent there. We
Yeah.
just don't have as many outlets. We don't have as many outlets because a lot of major labels with Motown left, everything's independent. You know what I mean?
Right.
So unless you could get out of the city and get exposure that way,
Right.
that's just like the only way you're really gonna make any kind of waves.
Right. Right. And that's man, I wish it was different than that because I think Detroit just deserves so much more spotlight in every way, as far as the city, as far as the culture, from Motown to the rap to everything, man. I think it's a real special city because I mean, look what comes out of it. Like, look at like the people that
Mhm.
come from it. Like like Detroit's just different. It is. It's just different, and
Right.
like I haven't been there yet myself. I'm gonna come there. I am coming there. I'm gonna travel, but I know that's one of the places I've wanted to go for a long time because I've wanted to go there. I love the music. I love the culture. I love Motown. I love the rap. I've met a lot of guys from there through the Instagram and shit, doing interviews and shit like that, and talked to a
Mhm.
lot of people. And it's somewhere I definitely want to check out. It's just
Yeah.
such a rich tapestry of culture and history. I gotta go.
Yep. Exactly. It's definitely an experience, man. You know what I mean? And even when people from Detroit travel to other areas,
Yeah.
it's something about us. It's something about us that stands out, and
Yep.
we're respected. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So if you tell somebody you're from Detroit and you in Los Angeles or whatever,
Yeah.
you get a certain kind of respect off of that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? So
Absolutely. I can tell you that for sure. Because back in the day, when I used to hustle, we had some homies from Detroit that would come out here and shit. And they'd
mhm.
be pulling home invasions with us. I mean, this shit was all 20 years ago. So the statute of limitations is done. I don't care. I'll talk about it. I ain't
Right.
saying no
Right,
names
no
or nothing.
problem.
But I had some homies that would come. We'd be doing home invasions and hustling and dealing and shit, and like yeah, just the fact that these guys are from Detroit, people were like, shit, these motherfuckers are from Detroit. Like people, I'd
Mhm.
be telling them, I'd be like, they cool, but I wouldn't go see them without me with you, because they might
Yep.
just take you for
Mhm.
everything you got. Boy, yeah, I wouldn't even
That's
go there
true.
without me. Like,
That is true.
and not that they were bad dudes, but it's just like that's how all of us were back then. Like that's how I was too. Like if I didn't know some cat and he came up all flashy, I'm like, man, I'd start thinking like let's get
Mhm.
him. Like so.
Right.
But yeah, just the name Detroit would demands respect. Just somebody say, yo, I'm from
Yeah.
Detroit. They they come from a hard place, so it ain't no joke.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
But I still love that there's still so much positivity that comes from the city. Like almost all the guys I've talked to in interviews and stuff, they love this city. They love that they grew up there. They love the
Right.
experience that they've had there, and it's molded them into who they are. And I mean, just like you,
Yep.
for
Exactly.
example, you're a man of God. You're positive. You bring a lot of light into the world, and that's awesome. You come from
Right.
a spot where it's a great special place, but there's also a lot of dark spots too. There's some dark
Yep.
areas and some
Exactly.
and dark forces to deal with. So the fact
It is
that
true.
you can be so positive that and people can find outlet like rapping and or like Mark Buchanan with Pelly Pelly. Like I mean, it's just like
Yep.
that's another thing. Pelly Pelly, one of the dopest brands on the planet, just iconic.
Yep.
Wanted one my whole life. Finally
Me
got
too.
one. My awesome wife, bought me one. I mean, I'm just so excited. Like every time I put that on, I just feel different. I'm like, man, this like
Yep.
I feel special just having it on. Like it's one of my most
Right.
prized possessions, if not my most prized possession. Like I love that thing, and it's just that came from Detroit. That's a Detroit thing.
Yep.
Detroit
Yep.
brought that to the world.
Yep. Maurice Malone.
Yep.
He was like the Carl Kanai of Detroit.
Yes.
Pretty much. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. Maurice Malone, definitely. And he had that hip hop shop, and he really supported the
Yep.
culture and just, that's a legendary name when I hear it. When I hear Maurice Malone, I'm like, yeah, yes, yes. Oh,
Yep. I went there. I went there once. There's a pic on my Instagram where I shout out a homeboy of mine named Merch Music,
yeah,
and it's me and him standing outside the hip hop shop. Because if you look up the little awning, it says original hip hop shop. I did a beat battle
yes,
there back in 2015,
yeah,
and that's where that pic was from.
nice. Hell yeah. That's
Mhm.
history right there. Definitely.
Yep. And I met Big Proof's right hand man, firstborn,
Yes.
um, who was either head of his labels, his Proven Records or something like that.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
met him there that day, and we've been cool ever since.
Hell
You
yeah.
know, he always showed love, and yeah, man. Whenever you come through, you can come by the crib, and yeah. So he's a dope dude too.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Firstborn. That's you know what I mean. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man, firstborn, I've talked to him on here a couple times, messaging back and forth, and I'm gonna we've talked about doing an interview sometime in the future once I know he just had a baby not that long ago, a year or two ago, and
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
want to give him some time to be a father and do some things, and he said he had some stuff going on, so but yeah, he's super cool. Like he actually answers me back when I hit him up, and I know he was Proof's big homie and shit like they're big friends with, not big homie, but big time friends with Proof, and it's
Yeah.
it's it just and he spit one of my favorite verses of all time on that song Black Wrist Brothers on Searching for Jerry Garcia,
Yeah.
that's Proof album. Damn, that shit was hot. Like, but everything he spit on there is hot, but that last verse, I'm a fine ass and finger fucker, and then he's like something that SK spray me, look like rain. That's like, yeah.
Mhm.
I had to mumble
Yeah.
some of that out. I ain't gonna get on here and be
I
singing
got
the
you.
N word and shit.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that too.
Yeah, for sure. uh, another shout out I wanted to give just to the culture of Detroit. Ty Hopkins with the starter.
Yep, definitely legendary.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. I got some of his. I got some starter shoes with that he redid the start. I can't remember what they're called, but he did. It's like bright red and white patent leather, and the big starter logo on the sides, and inside it says Ty Hopkins and shit. Like they
Yep.
came with a nice little keychain, starter keychain on them, and three different pairs of
Yeah.
laces, like red and white, and then red and white
That's
candy
dope.
cane, and yeah, it was dope.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad for $100. I was like, I'm getting those, man, all day long,
Yep. Exactly.
all day.
I remember in the '90s where they had all them sport team jackets.
Yeah,
I wanted one so bad, but
me too.
dudes was getting robbed and killed for those and
Right.
Jordans and everything. So
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, I just give me a record. I go to Sears, get me a winter coat. Forget that.
right, right,
My parents were like, we getting you going to Sears and JC Penney. We ain't getting anything like that to have you. Yeah,
right. It ain't
it was
worth it.
crazy times.
It ain't worth it.
No, not at all.
It ain't worth it. I wanted one all through high school, and then like my dad would never get that. Like we wanted Jordans, and we'd get some knockoff stuff. I wanted Reebok pumps, and we got these uh Voight pumps or Franklin
I
pumps or
remember those.
something. Yeah, and they tried, but my dad worked for the railroad. He makes good money. He could have, and
Right.
he never had a mortgage, nothing. Like he built the
Yeah.
house himself little by little, so it didn't cost. He bought all the land with cash. Like he don't owe nothing. He never owed nothing. He could have, but whatever.
Right.
That's the way he parented, and I can't do nothing about it. But finally, when I was in like what was it, ninth or 10th grade, I finally got a starter jacket, and I wanted I liked Charlotte Hornets back then. I got a Charlotte Hornets starter jacket, pull over
Right.
the pocket in the
Mhm.
front, and man, that was like,
Yeah.
I thought I was so cool with that.
Mhm.
Thought I was
Yep.
so cool with that. But yeah, that was a shit back in the day. All that, and
Mhm.
I remember wanting all that stuff, and man, I couldn't have most of it. Nope. And then my dad
Yeah.
would
Me
come
neither,
look for
man.
my CDs and burn them. He'd be like, Tupac, well, this is violent. I remember him throwing them in the wood stove and watching them just melt and turn colors, and I'd just be crying like, man, you're wrecking my soul. You don't understand.
Yeah, I feel you.
No, this stuff's changing you and blah, blah, blah. It's music. If
Mhm.
anything, it helps me to get away from all the abuse that I'm suffering because I can just go put on my headphones and hide up in the tree fort until the batteries go dead.
Yep. Exactly, dude.
He
Like I
didn't
don't even
get
know
it.
where they. I really don't know where they got that idea at.
Right.
It had to be something that's propaganda, pretty much.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Right.
If otherwise, you just gotta be a very weak-minded person if you could let music kind of dictate your life and make you go do something to action. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think they were just looking for a way to kind of like stop the music from growing, being so
Exactly.
widespread. So they put that on the news and ran with it.
Yeah.
You know
They
what I
did.
mean?
They did anything that happened, they'd run with it. Remember Nancy Reagan, all these other people, Barbara Bush, trying to, stop it from coming out and on the news talking, wrecking NWA CDs and saying how it's
Mhm.
bad and how it's influencing kids. It's like, it ain't influencing nothing. This shit been going on before rap ever came out. And, like,
Yep. Exactly.
exactly. And like, uh, I just don't understand that mentality thinking, oh, music is gonna make people do shit. I remember Tupac got sued for like 35 million because this younger dude got pulled over. He was listening to Tupacalypse Now on that song where he's like, finally pulled me over and I laughed. Remember Rodney King? Then I blast on his punk ass. And as he's getting pulled over, he
Mhm.
kills the cop. And he blames it on
Yep.
Tupac. Well,
Yeah, I
it was
remember
all.
that.
Do you remember that shit?
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was all over national media and this and that. And I mean, Tupac won the lawsuit, but still, like that, they were trying to hurt rap bad, bad
Yep.
back in the day.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
Rap really had to fight for where we are today. It did.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
did.
Exactly.
I mean, they didn't even want to let like Easy E and NWA and Ice T and different guys that had a lot of swearing on their albums. They tried to stop all that, and it was like, no, dude, this is free speech. We can say
Right.
whatever we want, whatever we want.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
it's just like I got in a big argument with my old boss because there a while ago some guy burned the flag on Facebook, and then like
Mhm.
dude, I seen that people had shared it over 10 million times in a night trying to identify this dude so they could go do something to him. I'm like, y'all don't get that worked up when kids get shot, when kids get raped or molested to go try to find these
Mhm.
traffickers? Nothing. But because he burned a piece of cloth, and my boss like, oh, I'm a veteran. I fought for that. I said, yeah, if you're a veteran, then you fought for him to have the right to burn that motherfucker. If that's what
Mhm.
he wants to do, what the fuck? He didn't rape nobody, but you're out here trying to find him instead of trying to find rapists and little kid killers and shit. Like, you don't make any
Exactly, dude.
sense.
Yep. Selective outrage.
Yep, exactly.
Like that Chris Rock special. That's exactly what that is.
Yep, exactly. That's a good. I'm gonna remember that term too. Selective. Dude, I was so mad. I was like, I'm gonna get on this bitch and burn the flag right in front of all y'all and let you know who I am. I don't give a fuck. Fuck that flag. It's a piece of cloth that represents our crooked ass murdering government. Screw them. Like
Mhm.
the America is the people, not that cloth, and not the government.
Yep. That's true.
That made me mad because it just there's so much other shit going on that actually matters. They could have shared some traffickers 10 million times trying to find them and help some kids, but nope.
I
Let's
agree.
find the guy who wrecked a piece of cloth and didn't hurt nobody.
Yep. They're doing a I think today they're doing a nationwide protest at all the capital cities in America about Trump, like an anti-Trump thing. So
Jeez.
it's been making its rounds. Supposed to be like 1 million people combined at all the state capital cities.
Wow.
Yeah. So they really don't like. They really not liking him. They realize what they signed up for finally.
Right? Right? It's like, it's like, dude, the whole time, like, we won't get into any politics early on here today, but I mean, I agree. And like, dude, the whole time Biden was in, everything was tanking, and everybody was like, dude, we got to get this motherfucker out of here. And Kamala was just another form of him, in my opinion. So
Mhm.
I'm glad things are the way they are right now, and I'm just gonna say that. But I'm not the only one. I'm, dogmatic. He'll tell you the same thing. He'll put it right on Facebook all day long, and go
Yep.
rounds with anybody and give people some information.
Yep.
So
Exactly, dude. My aunt been getting into it with some of her church friends for the last week on Facebook over that
yeah,
same subject.
yep.
And then my cousin from the next town over, Grand Rapids, she jumps on the post, and then a dude that be getting to it, my aunt gets into it with her, and I'm just sitting back. I'm like, I told my aunt, I was like, well, if you need my help, let me know, because last time I had to check somebody on here, I got banned for like 7 days and couldn't post.
Right. And that's more propaganda happening. Like, dude, I remember on Twitter and shit like that, if you said anything about Trump positive, they'd take it off. And if you said anything about negative about Biden, they'd kick you off. Like, it was crazy.
Mhm.
Like, they'd take it all off, erase it immediately. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Nobody swore, nobody said no names or nothing. I just said this guy's crooked and I like this guy. Like,
Yeah.
or and I'm not saying he's a nice guy. I know he probably was a hole kind of like, but who isn't? That's a rich guy who's the president and blah blah. With like, I don't think anybody up in them positions is just a nice guy. You can't be and get shit done. I guess, but
Exactly. Yeah.
like, and I'm not saying he's a moral guy. Like, he's probably has had affairs and done shit. So what? What's that got to do? Every effing president we've ever had does.
Mhm.
And people love John F. Kennedy. He was sleeping with Marilyn Monroe and all kinds of women. His dad had shit going with the mafia. Like, what?
Mhm. Exactly.
So I don't understand what I just. No, I do understand actually. It's because he's not one of them. He's not one of them.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
normally, whether Republican or Democrat, they're both wings of the same dirty bird. But
That's what I
he's
always say too.
yes, exactly. But he's not from that shit. He was just like, I want to come in here and try to fix this shit. That's what I think. And yeah, maybe he hasn't made every right move, but I think he makes a hell of a lot more right moves than the last guy we had. I think he's way better and will do a way better job. And I think he did a way better job the first time he was in. And everybody's like, "Oh, well, this hasn't gone down yet." That he's only been in for like 2 weeks. Look at the plate of shit he was handed. What do you think? It's just gonna happen overnight?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's crazy out there, man. It's crazy.
Yep. Completely.
I'm just trying to think of this different relevant stuff that's going on to talk about like that. Like, because people have
Yeah.
been telling me, try to throw some current events into some stuff and, just, so I've
I
been
got you. Yeah.
trying it out a little bit and just
Yeah.
seeing where it goes and just seeing if it, helps a little bit. And it's I do like to talk about some of this stuff with some of the guys on here too. Like that's why I'm talking to you about it, because I like your opinions on stuff. I like the
I
way you.
appreciate it too, man. I respect yours too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I know we have the same beliefs, and so it's not like I'm talking to somebody that just doesn't know at all where I'm coming from. So
Exactly.
I appreciate that. Um, what? So what else been going on with you and stuff? What else have you been up to?
Nah, man, just working. You know what I mean? Just enjoying my days off, and you know what I mean. Trying to live and enjoy life. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do.
Hell
More
yeah!
positivity, less negativity. You
Right,
know what I mean? Less stress. You know what I mean? Trying to be stress and sucker free. You know
right.
what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Has it been nice out there? The weather and shit.
Yeah, it's pretty nice out.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been kind of touch and go. It's
Right,
been going between like 60 degrees and like 30, and raining and thunderstorms and snow, and
right,
we got like a combination of stuff going all within the same week. But
right.
still a lot better than what the South has been had going on these last 2 days with all those tornadoes. They've been getting hit left and right with tornadoes down south.
Damn.
So so it's been crazy.
Yeah, I bet they must be, because it's the same here as like what you said. They're like rain and then snow, and like right now it looks like the middle of winter, but it was nice for a couple days, and then it'll get cold. It'll get 40,
Yeah,
50, and then it'll get down to 6 degrees and just raining. And so we had a bunch of thunder and lightning last week, and it's just crazy. So now that I think about warm, cold, like there must be some tornadoes down south. And you guys are
yep.
on the
They
Great
done
Lakes
got
too, so you get a lot of the same weather I get.
exactly, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. You get
Lake
that lake
effect.
effect, snow, and all that. So yeah,
Yeah, you guys get hit hard. Detroit gets cold in the winter. People don't understand like how cold it really gets up north, and what a fight and struggle it is. Like if we didn't have modern shit, like we'd spend all day and night every day just keeping shit going to keep us warm. Like
yep.
it like okay, say you're traveling somewhere and somebody's out in the middle of nowhere and they get in a car accident and their phone
Hmm.
gets wrecked. They can't call nobody. They're gonna die because they're gonna freeze to death within a
Yep.
couple effing hours. On the coldest nights, it gets 30, 40 below, but
Yep. Exactly, dude.
even
I
10
got a story
below.
about some. Yep. I got a story about when I first met DJ Butter. It was actually in the wintertime. It was in February at one of my first going to the first Dilla Day Detroit events at the Fillmore.
Damn.
So I had to catch the bus. I had to catch the bus from my cousin's house,
Yeah.
who passed a couple years ago. He moved out here, but then got real sick and passed. But
Oh, I'm
because he's
sorry to
from
hear
out here where I live at, yeah, he's from the opposite side of Michigan where I'm at with my dad's side of the family.
that.
So he moved here from Detroit when he got laid off and all that. But yeah, so it's like the night I had to take that bus, it was no lie, it was like 10 below zero, and I had to wait for the bus.
Yeah.
I had to wait for the bus across the street from his house in Southwest Detroit. It ended up being an hour late due to the bus, but the good thing was they didn't charge me bus fare. I guess at a certain point in the night they just cut off the fare. It was
Nice.
like, you know what, it's really bad out. It was like you could ride for free. So I get there, I finally make it there. I think Fat Cat was performing.
Nice.
Either Fat Cat or Guilty. One of them was performing. So I'm back by the bar area. I don't drink, but I'm just back there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm texting and inboxing Butter on the phone while I'm in there, and that's where that one pic came up with me in the blue hoodie and a
Yeah.
black coat with the Def Jam University sweater. So
Nice.
that's where that came from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So and then leaving, I got to look at the drive. I was able to catch a cab because
Nice.
it's on Woodward Ave. The venue's on Woodward Ave, so that's the main
Yeah.
drag. So you can almost always catch a cab. But by
Nice.
fate, as soon as I walk out the building, the cab was going by, and I flagged him down, and I was able to get home in the cab instead of having to wait for the bus.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, man, 10 below is cold. That's bone chilling cold. Like, most people haven't even ever felt 10 below. Like, they don't know, like, when
Mm-hmm.
it gets 30 degrees, 40 degrees, they're wearing triple fat goose jackets and shit. And I'm like, dude, that's
Yep.
like heavy sweatshirt weather, but, like,
Yep.
yeah, man, it gets cold up here. It's no joke waiting for buses and having to go out there in the cold and do shit. And like, man, I give you
Mm-hmm.
guys credit getting out there and doing that shit to get this music out to the world and to get it made and to network and do shit. Because if y'all didn't, we wouldn't have any of this Detroit music. We wouldn't, and you know, so much Detroit music is my favorite shit. Hold on one second. I'm just gonna grab this off the shelf quick. Hold on one second.
Okay.
All right. I just wanted to show you and give a shout out to DJ Butter. He sent me some stuff. When you brought up J.dilla, I got the Dilla Detroit DVD.
Yep. You sent me that. I got that from him too.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
got the DJ King David Detroit Streets Volume 5.
Yep. Shout out Detroit King David.
Hell
DJ
yeah.
King David.
Shout
That's
out
a
to
homie too.
DJ King David too. He's one of my guys too. He's cool as shit. Like, dude, I did an
Mm-hmm.
interview with him before. I swear to God, it's on YouTube, but it's like 3.5 hours long. We were on there just high as hell laughing, talking shit.
Right.
So, he was cool as shit.
Yeah.
Got the Detroit Eminem and D12 versus Royce da 5'9", DJ Butter.
Yep.
That's a
Classic.
classic. Then I got Bugs, the D12, the One Man Mob mixtape.
Yep. R.I.P. Buzz, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, R.I.P. Bugs, man. He had one of the most iconic voices too.
Mm-hmm.
That freestyle on D12 World. Man, fuck that. Who run shit? Want these drums hit? You dope head. First, this is some old dumb shit. Here's a can of ass whip for you to come get. My trip make the hoes up, make the girl suck dick. Ask my girl. She knows the scoop don't fuck with Bugs, bitch. I chop off her titty. Have you sucking one tit? And like, he just keeps going. He's like, now who the nit whip?
Yep.
Wanna come get with? This egotist, kick him up, fundamentalistic. Like, I'm like, dude, this dude's freestyling this. This is crazy. Like, yeah,
Yep.
R.I.P. Bugs, man. I wish we could have heard a lot more from him.
Yep.
Definitely.
Exactly. Me too, man.
And Proof, R.I.P. Proof too, man. He was
R.I.P. Proof
also
too.
one of the best, man. And and,
Yep. Exactly, man.
and one thing I liked about Proof is I seen that, you know, he's a multi-platinum artist. He'd still be going to open mics and shit and freestyling and
Mm-hmm.
battling people.
Yep.
Loved it.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. Sure enough.
Loved it. And then I wanted to shout out my guy, Lil Gangsta Erd from San Diego. He hooked me up with some CDs and shit. Y'all go check him out, Lil Gangsta Erd. His dad was Gangsta Erd, and he's a famous dude down there and shit. He's got a few albums out and shit. They're all cool. They're real cool. He's got some features on there. And also his brother, Earn Billions. He's cool as shit too. Shout out Earn Billions and Black
shout out to the homies.
Monkey. All them dudes.
Yeah,
Mitchie
shout out to the
Slick.
homies. Shout out to you.
They got some good shit out. There's some cool dudes. So shout out to them. Shout out to Holidago. Shout out Mitchie Slick.
Yeah,
all them guys.
Salute to all the homies in San Diego, man. I know one or two producer dudes from out there. My homie
Hell yeah.
Recognize and my homie Chris Price. They're
Hell
both
yeah.
part of a production team. They're both together. They're a production team called Trusted Sounds. They're on some underground boom bap stuff, kind of like me, but
Yeah.
they nice though, man. They want fans. So shout out to homie Rec. Shout out to homie Chris Price. You know Dago.
Hell yeah.
Homie Demi Dago. Shout out
to
them.
both of them. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll have to check them out. So after we hang up here, send me a message with the name of their shit on it again, and I want to go check them out.
Also, I'm gonna link you to my manager,
Hell yeah.
Live Peace. I'm gonna link you to him, legendary Detroit MC.
Hell yeah.
I'll make sure I plug you with him too. So
Hell yeah.
you know what I mean. Definitely
Thank
a vet icon in the city. So you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's been getting my music out to the right people. You know what I mean.
Hell
So,
yeah. Appreciate that, man. For real, I appreciate that. This is actually the first video I've done in a long time because I've just been super, like, I got married last year and, like, my family got a lot bigger.
Congrats.
And I'm just adjusting to stuff. And I started growing weed and that, it just takes up a lot of time. And not every day, but every 2, 3 days I gotta water them, and then that's an all day thing because I do it slow, and then if I up plant, then you gotta up pot them into a bigger pot, and then just cutting them down and then trimming them and then hanging them and
Yep.
everything, and then after they've hung, then I gotta cut them and really trim them again, and then put them in
Oh
bags
yeah.
or jars to cure them, and just it's work,
Mhm.
and I got no help because I really don't trust people to do it the right way. Except I got a couple people that I would trust to do it the right way, but they're always
Right.
busy or something, or
Yeah, I
they're
feel you.
unavailable. But there's like few
Mhm.
people who I know are meticulous like me that I'm like, no, it's got to be. I want it like this, and I know they want it like that.
Right. Yeah.
So I just end up doing most stuff myself. But I've been trying to teach my son because I'm like, yo, one day you're gonna be glad to know this stuff. You don't have to grow weed when you're older, but you might need to know that. What if the whole economy crashes and we're living as freaking hunter gatherers again, basically? And
Yep.
it'd be good to know this stuff. It's good to know how to make alcohol
Mhm.
and be a trade, like just
Yep.
something you could
Exactly.
trade, because those things are all
Mhm.
things that people are gonna want. So I don't want no damn alcohol. I can't stand it, but I know it would
Right.
be something people would trade for, big time.
Yep. Exactly, man. Yep. Like The Walking Dead, where they be trading all that stuff.
Yes, yes, exactly. Exactly, because honestly, I feel like it's coming at some point. I do. I don't know if it'll happen in our lifetime, but I feel like, dude, the way things are going, it ain't gonna get better. Not way better or
Nah.
nothing. Like the next few years, shit should be better than it was. But I'm worried about after that. I don't know who we're gonna
Yeah.
have to pick from and stuff. I'm actually I'm not worried because God tells us not to worry. There's enough worry in the day for itself. Let the day worry about itself. But
Right.
I should say I'm concerned. I'm concerned
Yep. I
because
am too, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I am too. I try not to worry, but I am concerned. Overly
right,
concerned.
right, exactly. And my son is 15, and my wife, she has kids, and one's 11, and one's 17. She's got a couple growing ones, and like this is a crazy world they're going into. It was crazy for us. Like we saw the last of the good jobs and stuff. Like when we were kids, like even then it was dwindling and going away. Because I was born in '82, and like when my dad was going to work, like right before I was born, he said as long as you look good from the neck down, you were hired. You know. Like if you
Right.
could work and you could do some backbreaking work, you were in. Now you gotta
Right.
have schooling. You gotta have this and that. Now everybody has schooling pretty much, so it's not as it doesn't say as much as it used to because almost
Mhm.
anybody can go to school now. So now everybody's got one of those, and so it's just so hard to get into anything unless you have a trade really. And so it's
Yep.
you know it's crazy. Like it went from the '80s seeing cigarettes $2 a pack, or not in the '80s, but in the '90s when I was a kid. When I first started smoking, they were like $2 a pack. I remember when they went to 250. I was furious. And
Yep.
now look
Exactly.
at them. They're $10. I quit years ago, but yeah, I was like, man, 10, $12 a pack. In New York, they're like 20. Y'all are
Yep.
crazy paying that. I wouldn't do it. And they don't even get you baked. Why smoke them? They just kill you.
Right. Exactly. Mhm.
I had to quit them. I did. I vaped for like 8 years after smoking, and then I just totally quit that too. I was like, no, the only thing I'll vape is THC. I ain't touching no tobacco, and that's actually a miracle. God help me with that. I threw it away. I said my lungs were wheezing at night. And I said I don't want to die from this crap. Lord help me to not have a craving. And I threw it away, and I never felt like smoking again.
Yeah.
So,
My bad. My bad, man. That was my aunt calling.
oh, you're good.
That's
You're
why.
good, brother.
I'll call her back later. I'll call her back later, bro.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll call her back later.
Okay. Yeah, I know that shit happens to me too. Messages will pop up or somebody will call. I'm like, no, no, get off there, get off there. I'll call you back.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I was just saying it was a miracle that I even quit smoking because I smoked for over 30 years. And, I was like a pack a day smoker. And when I smoked vapes, I smoked all day, just puff, puff, puff. And I just said, God help me, I don't want to die. My lungs are wheezing. I threw it away, and I never had a craving.
Right. Exactly, man.
And
I
that's
feel you
not
on that.
normal.
That's something. Yeah, that's true.
So that's why I say it's a miracle. I asked God for help, and He did it. I can't say it was me. I didn't talk my brain out of wanting nicotine. And I was smoking hard. Like when I was vaping, I had a friend who owned the vape shop, so he'd make me like people were buying 2 or 6 milligram nicotine. I was putting 35 on there. Like,
Wow.
yeah, most people if they tried to hit my shit would be like, "Oh, what the hell's in that?" And I'm like,
Mm.
"What do you mean it's smooth?"
Yep. Exactly.
So yeah, I'm glad I quit that. That shit was bad. And I've looked up. There's been vape devices that have blown up in people's faces and killed them.
I heard about that. Yep. I heard about
Yep.
that.
And that ain't no urban myth. It's happened. Not much, but it's happened. That's why, especially with the earlier ones, that's why they've put some of these so-called safety features in there. But man, that's scary. Yeah, at least a cigarette never blew up in anybody's face and killed them instantly.
Yep.
But I can't say
Exactly.
that a slow death is much better. But
Right.
yeah, well, but I'm excited just for a lot of the music that's coming out. Young Z's doing a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff's happening in Detroit. I see, Kevin Bailey and Dogmatic Sons. What's the name of their group again? Damn it! Dude, my
I know who
memory.
you're talking about, but I forgot the name too.
Yeah, my memory
So I know who you're
is
talking about, but I
so.
forgot the name of it though.
Yeah, and I should DUK.
Yeah,
DUK.
DUK. Yeah.
Yep. Detroit Underground Kings. That's what it is.
Yep.
I have such a horrible memory. Anything I'm trying to think of, dude, lately, I can't think of it. The doctor's giving me vitamins because we're figuring maybe it's some deficiencies from, being cooped up all winter and stuff like that. Not getting enough exercise because I'm inside and there's no sunlight.
Right.
It's just,
Yeah, I feel you.
no vitamin D, no vitamin E. It's hard, man. Winters are hard on me.
Yep.
But
I feel you on that though.
right, I get seasonal depression really bad. It's really tough on me.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, thank
'Cause I
you.
know that's why you're not by yourself. It's a large margin of people that have that, so you're not by yourself.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's it. Yeah, it's mainly the sunlight. If it was even 20 degrees, tons of snow, and the sun was shining, I wouldn't feel so bad. I could get out there
Right.
and get some sunlight, but it's just there's not like where I'm at. We're so close to Lake Superior, it makes this lake effect where sometimes it's cloudy for weeks. And it's
Wow.
that yeah, it makes like the sun will come out for like a day or a half a day, and then it's cloudy again for a week. And then it'll come out for a half a
Yeah.
day or day, and cloudy again for a week, or and then on top of that, it's 30 below for months on end, and it's yeah,
Yep.
oof, it's tough. But I'm gonna try some different things next winter. I'm gonna try to get more exercise, even if it's just doing push-ups in the house. I'm gonna go to a couple tanning salons just to get some fake sunshine because that does help.
Right.
I used to do it and it helped. I just go on real low. I ain't trying to get a big thick tan or nothing or get
Right.
skin
I got you.
cancer. I just go on real low setting. Just give me some UV and
Yeah.
it helps me feel a little better and stuff. So, but that's another thing. People, if there's anybody out there struggling with depression, anxiety, stuff like that, you got to go talk to somebody about it. Even if it's just a friend or your wife, you don't got to necessarily go see a psychiatrist, but talk to somebody about it. Like,
Yep. Exactly.
just like me and this man are talking about. There's no shame in saying,
Mhm.
I don't feel right. I don't feel good. I need help. There's no shame in that. It takes a man to say they need help. I think.
Oh yeah. Always, man.
You know. So that's something that I've noticed. There's a lot, like there's just, and the doctors, they want to push these pills for depression and anxiety and stuff so bad. That's the first thing out of their mouth all the time. Not, well, try changing your lifestyle. It's always like, and okay, if you need that, that's the thing. That's the only thing that's gonna work. Okay, sure, all the power to you. But I don't want it to be the first thing they bring up. No, I would try
Right.
tell me to exercise and take vitamins and to go outside even if it is crappy out and just do some things like find some things to
Right.
do in the winter or something. And besides, oh well, they make these pills. I was like, man, I got mad. I said, if that's the kind of doctor you are, she started trying to tell me that and then stuff about pot that she doesn't know what she's talking about. And I'm like, man, if this is the kind of doctor you are, I'm done with you. And I went stomping out of there, then went back and apologized and said, look, I'm sorry for blowing up, but I just, I explained to her, like all I could hear was my dad, because we just got in a big argument a couple weeks ago, and he's always trying to talk down on me about pot. And it's like, I believe in Genesis when God gave us every seed-bearing green herb and plant on earth to use as food and for whatever. I don't believe he walked around and said, except this one. He didn't do that. So, yes, there is a point where a person could make it their idol, but it ain't my idol. You know what I did the other day? I stood in my, can you hear me?
Yeah,
I figured you
my
might have
aunt
got a
keeps
call.
calling. Yeah, my aunt keeps calling, man. I'm trying to stay on to finish this, but man, she keeps calling, so I'm not sure if it's something. I'm not sure if she needs something really right away, but I'm trying to stay on as long as I can before I have to call her back. So,
all right.
But if she keeps calling, I might go ahead and take it.
Right? Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I'll try to wrap this up then quick, then so you can call her, because it might be something important if she's calling. If that ain't her normal thing. So, but we can continue whenever you want. If you want to come back on and talk to her, because you always got an open slot on here, brother. Always.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yep.
Always.
Likewise, and I appreciate the support, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming on here, man. It's been an honor having you on the Honor Show, and bro, anytime you want to come on, dude, I always enjoy having you on. You're somebody I look up to. You're a dope producer, and hey, send me some beats to listen to and shit. I'm gonna let them get out nowhere, or not nobody else is gonna hear them or get a hold of them.
I'll send you my Spotify link and all that, so you can just go through Spotify if you got Spotify and do it that way.
Yeah, hell yeah, love it, brother.
Yep.
All right, God bless you and have a good day. And yeah, check on your auntie. I don't want you to miss if she's trying to tell you something. So.
Right, I appreciate it, man. Sorry to have the excuses early, man, but I appreciate you though.
You're good, brother. You're good. You come back anytime you want. Love you, brother.
All right, will do. Love you too, man.
Peace.
Blessings. Peace.